In this house in Mosul, the Islamic State's self-proclaimed caliphate is a memory impossible to erase. On these official papers, 4 letters in red ink: ISIS. For the safety of this family, we will not show their faces.
This document is for receiving food vouchers. Those associated with the Islamic State have been crossed off the list. His name remains marked with a red pen, with a note stating his affiliation with the Islamic State.
The crossed-out name belongs to this man's brother, who joined the ranks of the Islamic State 10 years ago.
For ideas, money? I don't know. My brother joined ISIS. What am I guilty of?
Nothing was in our hands. We couldn't do anything.
The rest of the family was cleared of any ties to ISIS when they returned from the Al-Hol camp in Syria, where they sought refuge from bombardment. But they continue to face the repercussions of his brother's decision. They haven't returned home.
The neighbors said my brother was with ISIS. They didn't accept our return. They said it was an ISIS house. You can't enter and live there.
They are not the only ones paying for the allegiance of members of their family. Thousands of people seen as affiliated with the Islamic State struggle to obtain identity papers. This family succeeded with the help of an NGO, but not their nephews. Born during the war to a father who was a member of ISIS and is now missing, they don't exist in the eyes of the Iraqi authorities.
They don't have birth certificates. In this situation, the government must take care of these children and give them certificates so they can go to school and have a future.
According to the UN, around 250,000 of the millions displaced during the war against ISIS still haven't returned home. The reasons are often economic, but for those perceived as affiliated with the Islamic State, there is also a fear of reprisals. This young woman returned to her village 2 years ago.
When we first arrived, people reacted to our presence. We didn't socialize. We heard words: you're so-and-so's wife, you're like this, you're like that. Words we can't repeat. But over time, we adapted to the situation.
She too still lacks official documents, a procedure known as disavowal. Filing a complaint against her husband, who was a member of the Islamic State, is meant to facilitate the process. But like many others married under the regime of the self-proclaimed caliphate, she has been stuck in legal limbo for 2 years.
My son isn't registered. That's what worries me the most. He still doesn't have an ID card, and I won't be able to enroll him in a school. He's almost 5 years old now.
The reintegration of these highly stigmatized families is a sensitive issue. Some residents of the province see it as unjust to give them aid, while others struggle to recover from the war with ISIS.
First, we suggest a farming project. The targeted families are the returnees and the hosts.
In workshops like this, participants are brainstorming projects intended to benefit everyone in the area.
Isolation is dangerous. If we leave them in the Al-Hol camp and allow them to train, they'll return and massacre us. We endured defamation, claiming we dealt with terrorists, as if we supported terrorism. We resolved most of the issues.
The Iraqi government is pushing for the repatriation of its citizens from Syria and the closure of displacement camps in Iraq. In Anbar, no one returns without the green light of these tribal leaders, but they too are deeply divided on the issue.
It's a blessed step to solve this problem, bringing these families back to their provinces and putting the past behind us.
This generation retains the organization's ideas. Murder and terrorism are firmly rooted in their minds. They cannot integrate into society without rehabilitation. Neither the government, nor we, nor anyone else can control the reactions that will occur.
The residents of Haditha survived months of siege and fought against ISIS fighters from 2014 until 2017. Today, they refuse to allow their families to return.
The one on top is my eldest son, and next to him, my other son. my two eldest. What should I feel? A mother who has lost her sons? What will she feel? If I could, I would kill.
IS families chose their path when they went with IS. I expect that there will be killings. 2 of my sons were killed, and if I see the one who killed my son, I can't just sit there. I will kill him, even if I'm sentenced to death for it.
7 years after the end of the war, the wounds are still not healed. Families considered to have links to ISIS hope that time will soothe the anger.
Gradually it will fade away. They won't remember that we have a member of IS in the family.